Hey guys, thanks for checking out the channel. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And also, remember to hit that bell for notifications for when we drop new videos.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. Officials and newsmen at first discounted those eyewitness descriptions as being beyond belief. However, the reports persisted.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Hello everybody. Welcome to Boogeyman Radio.
He is your host.
Robert Townsend, and over here we got the Boogeyman himself.
The Boogeyman himself. That's right, exactly. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to take the Boogeyman mantle for myself tonight.
You want to tell everybody about that?
Yeah, sure.
Shout out to
shout out to Nikki. So at Haunted Soul Society.
There you go.
There we go.
Shots fired,
Got
girls.
it. Whoa, hey.
Firing back at them.
They were showing me a little flyer for events they had coming up, and for the one that we are going to in April at McIntyre Villa, Boogeyman was the name of our YouTube channel. So I just figured, why not just adopt the name for tonight and have some fun with it. So
Right.
that's me.
Shots fired, Nikki.
That's fine.
If you'd like to hit him back, his email address is such and such.
Exactly. She knows where she can find me. It's all good.
Well, I think she already did fire back. I mean, she got a preemptive shot in there whenever she
did.
Gave you the wrong name on a post.
She tagged me as a completely different person. Didn't know I had that last name. But
you got the split personalities, and one of them's
There's nothing new about that. No. Nothing new about that at all. Hi, Jess. Hi, Kelly. Kimberly. Good to have you all here again. Appreciate it.
His split personality is Jameson.
Yes. Does sound is equally. You're not wrong. I mean, that is a pretty good name. I wasn't
Welcome to the
opposed.
bog.
Yeah, welcome to the bog. It's just interesting. It's a whole different kind of swamp, right?
Yeah.
But
swamp ass.
Something fun. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well.
Anyways, how was your week, Dave?
Oh my God, my week was exhausting. Went out.
How's
did
that
some
time
filming.
change for you? Sorry.
Oh, screw the time change. Huh?
I know, right? Anyways, filming, yes.
Yeah, went out filming, and that was fun. Spent about 6.5 hours just shooting B-roll for it, and
wonderful.
And like maybe 15 minutes shooting interviews. That was it. Like that was so
Well,
great.
I mean, the interviews I feel like
happened.
go easier because then you're like, I want to film this for the B-roll, and just
It helped this time. Like this. I was filming at a place I've been to before, so I kind of knew where I wanted to go and everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
With the interviews, so it was like boom, 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 done, and then all that B-roll. I was lucky. I lucked out. We had good weather for the daytime stuff, and even for the nighttime. Like we were supposed to have storms roll through, and I was really worried about that, but it all came together. And
usually it does in the end.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good to see it come to fruition. But I will say,
I can't wait.
We shot it in 4K, and I'm gonna have to get a new computer or something. Like my computer is
can't
not
take
handling.
It's not take it very well. It's a 4K space that you need. It's,
the exporting of the video from the
good point.
SD cards to the computer. Like I think it took 4 hours because I had about nearly a terabyte of video.
Yeah,
to export.
I feel that. I mean,
4.5 hours.
To be fair, you don't realize how fast computers just naturally become outdated.
Yeah.
Like, I completely understand. I feel that way with my laptop every now and then, but it still runs, still does great, so I can't complain too much.
So I'm going to have to hit up OnlyFans and see if we can raise some money for the new computer.
That could be
lucrative. I have pretty feet.
Or you could just do ghostly fans and just do paranormal content.
I guess. I mean,
just saying.
Some people use TikTok. We'll use ghostly fans.
Ghostly
How was your
fans.
weekend?
Like
you had.
I had a phenomenal weekend.
Yeah.
It could have gone better. I will say there's a few things that happened that I didn't want to happen, but to start off,
Did you finally got your pubes?
Just not gonna touch that one.
Don't touch it. Just let it happen.
Anyways, no. So Thursday was my last day as a employed bartender. Thank you very much. A total of 8. Thank you. A total of 8 years at the last location, or at the location, and so yeah, Thursday I was a free man, as some would say, and I start my new job tomorrow, which I'm pretty excited for. I mean, I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be no problem. Hey Cassie, good to see you here. And also Friday starting went to Comic-Con. So all weekend was Comic-Con here in Kansas City. It's called Planet Comic-Con. I believe it's the only one that has Planet Comic-Con in its name. And it was here all weekend. One. But I will say, I should have known this going into it, but it was the 25th anniversary. Absolutely massive amounts of people. There was a lot of people. So much so that a lot of the people were waiting 2 hours in line to get their tickets to be able to go in the con because they didn't get their tickets beforehand. Mind you, that does suck. I agree. But to be fair, like 3 days before the con started, they sent out posts of saying, hey, go here to get your tickets before the con itself. So they did give people a chance. But still, the fact that it took 2 hours for some people to get in there, that's not very fun. I will say I didn't get to meet any celebrities actually at the con itself, because the ones that I actually wanted to go see and pay for, their lines were just ridiculously long.
Yeah,
I'm not going to waste my
capped
time.
Them.
Oh yeah, they capped them because they have specific breaks, right? So they had to cap it per so many people each time. And each time that I went to go see Matthew Lillard, the line was capped. So I just said,
Cassie.
Yeah, so I didn't get to meet Matthew Lillard, Cassie. So I may have to have some help with that, if you know what I'm saying.
Start rubbing elbows.
Yeah, so
Something. Just keep it PG.
But I mean, other than that, it was a great time. I just, like I said, I wish it could have been a little bit better as far as the con goes. And other than that, I mean, I met the guitarist Ted Nugent, fantastic artist, super nice guy. I understand some people don't like his politics. That's fine. I really care about his music. His music is something I grew up with, so I was very happy with it. Susan, happy to have you here. And so it was really cool to meet him. That was really nice. But I'm trying to think anything else that happened. No, I think it's pretty easy of a week. It was a great week, honestly. It was a great week.
Yeah.
But new life, new job, new things start tomorrow. So
heck yeah.
Here's to it. My drink. I got nothing. Sorry. There we go. Perfect. Dave's taking one for me. Hey. But no, that was my week. It was a good week. And oh shoot, I'm so sorry. I also went to a paranormal event Saturday night
my God,
with Haunted Soul Society. God. At the Ray County Museum. It was a lot of fun. I got to see Jerry, I got to see Jess, and another couple that was there that I had met at McIntyre Villa last time I was there with Haunted Soul Society. And yeah, it was a great time. I mean, I had a little bit of cat ball activity. We thought we heard some people walking around upstairs because the boards up there are very loud. But it's always a great time to go see everybody there and everybody involved with the team. But it was wonderful. It was really nice. So that was my weekend was just fantastic. I don't know.
Yeah, and speaking of Haunted Souls, hopefully we'll get to see some of you guys at the Haunted Souls event in McIntyre Villa.
Heck yeah.
This April. So if you haven't gotten tickets for it yet, you better.
I think it's April 20th. I think it's April 20th. Go to Eventbrite, type in wait, what?
It's the 20th or 21st, one of those.
Yes, sorry. Go to Eventbrite, type in Haunted Soul Society, and I believe it's the 20th because it's that Saturday. So, go. I'll have to double check with that too, and if the team members hear me, put it in the comments as well. But it's the 20th. So I love McIntyre, and I get to go there twice this year. I cannot freaking wait. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be awesome.
Stephanie didn't know we were coming, so that's even better.
Yeah, I thought she knew.
I figured they would have told her, but if not, it's no big deal.
I don't know if that was supposed to be like a surprise, like if Nick had set that up or Nikki set that up.
Nikki ruined it. Just
womp
saying,
womp.
she's the one that announced it. I'm just saying.
Womp womp. Before we bring our guest on real quick, I'm going to run these out there, guys. I've still got tickets available for the Harbor Village event coming up this May at in Grove, Oklahoma. There's a limited amount. Tickets have already started selling pretty good for this event, but the space is limited. I've got a really cool experiment planned for this, so
I can't wait.
Get your tickets. It's a new one. It's going to be a new one. So there's that. And then, of course, later in May, we'll be at Malvern Manor in Malvern, Iowa, doing an event there. Probably going to continue this experiment at Malvern, but Malvern's going to be a fun one. I think we're going to have to play hide and seek again with the spirits. See if we can get revenge on Josh.
Yes. I'm going to be potentially at Malvern 3 times this year.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
That's great. I'm excited. Sorry. Like I said, it's going to be a big year for paranormal. It's going to be great.
I love the enthusiasm and excitement for it.
Same.
I'm glad to see it. Also, guys, really cool event. It's going to be at McIntyre Villa in September, Friday the 13th.
Whoa.
I'll be pushing that later this year, but just throwing this out there, guys. If you want to see me at McIntyre again, join the Midwest Mystery Tour. Get your tickets for it. The tickets are cheaper than they were last year, so
yes,
it'll be a good event. I'm trying to. I want to get Stephanie involved in an experiment there for that place. Mm-hmm. We'll see. We'll see how it goes though. But again, you can get tickets on Eventbrite for that as well. I will say though, Harbor Village. I got some kind of cool news. Like outside of my own event, like I guess there's like a book club or something there in Grove, and they heard about my event. They want me to do an event specifically for them.
What?
Yeah. So
that's
and it's like 20 people. So like I've got to figure out how I'm going to manage 20 people there. Right. So I'll be setting up an private event for them, I guess, here pretty soon. Yeah. It was pretty unexpected.
A little bit.
Jess will be at McIntyre on the 20th.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. She's going to Malvern either 2 or 3 times, depending on what her schedule's like.
I know she'll be at the Malvern event.
Yes, she'll be at the Malvern event. I don't know if she's going with Haunted Soul Society or not.
No, I mean the Midwest Mystery Tour.
Well, no, I know. I'm saying additionally, and then she also booked a date for an investigation as well.
And Jerry, if you're watching,
in July,
you better catch up. She's gonna outgain you.
It was great to see him. I hope he had a great time. That was his first time at Ray County. Yeah.
Nice.
And I hope he had a wonderful time. I really do. It seemed like he did. It was a smaller group this time. That's not a bad thing or anything. It's just smaller group. There was a lot of small groups this weekend.
Small groups are great.
I love
more
small
controllable.
Groups. Exactly.
So that was controllable. How about the uncontrollable? Let's get into tonight's topic and our guest, ladies and gentlemen. The man, the myth, the legend, and wild t-shirts, Mr. Steve Arnold.
Hey.
Speaking of uncontrollable.
Exactly.
Man, I didn't want to say it before, but whenever you popped on, the first thing I saw whenever I saw the shirt was like, I don't know if you remember those posters a couple decades ago where you're supposed to like get really close to them, then you see a 3D image pop out.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the shirt reminded me of. I was like,
well, thank you. Yeah. I'm so starving for attention that I have to wear clothes to get
he would not stop messaging us. Like, dude, I want to come on your show. I love you guys. You're so amazing. Let me no, we begged him. It just
worked out. Yeah.
We begged him. Yeah. In fact, you were away whenever I asked you to come on, and I was kind of worried you wouldn't be able to.
Well, I'm here.
He's here.
That's what matters.
William Madison says, "Hey, Steve."
Hey.
So, if you don't know who Steve is the proprietor of Eureka Springs Haunted Tours, and also you may have seen him a couple times on TV. No big deal. No big deal. You know, had a show called Meteorite Men. Had a couple seasons. How many seasons? 2, 3?
3 seasons.
3 seasons.
Very nice.
You know, I mean, most people, they get a show, they get like 1 season. Usually it's canceled a couple episodes in, but
nope.
This guy, This guy.
Now, mine was so small that they didn't cancel it. Like the big ones, they canceled. The little ones, they just don't renew you. And so you kind of get the feel. They got 6 months to renew you after your last episode is turned in. And you kind of are watching the clock and you kind of get the hint. Especially when the earlier years, they renew you in the middle of the season. Oh, yeah, it's going good. We need another season. Okay.
All right.
Now,
yeah.
Now we will talk a little bit about the show. I do have some questions about that show.
Okay.
But the primary reason we brought you on is because of the Eureka Springs tours. And
right.
A lot of people, when they hear Eureka Springs, they're like, "Oh crap, that's where the Crescent is." And
it is. Yeah.
Rightfully so. You know, that's a very huge, popular attraction. Right. But there's a lot of stuff within the town of Eureka Springs that people don't know about, and the history is just as important as the hauntings. And, you know, talking with you, I met you a couple years back where we filmed an episode of Haunting History, and some of the things that you told me and about the history and the stuff that happened in that area was really fascinating to me, being a history buff, but like ties in with a lot of the claimed hauntings from the other locations there in town. Mm-hmm. And so I want to start with this one because I find this one to be the most fascinating. And if you haven't been to Eureka Springs, there's several hotels in town. So the Crescent's not the only one that's reportedly haunted. One of them, there's the Basin Park, which is probably like the second most known, but there's also the New Orleans Hotel. Now, I don't know how much information you can give about the New Orleans, but some of the information that you told me then was pretty outstanding. And I got to say, I did go into the New Orleans Hotel and try to find the elevator.
Okay.
They said the lady at the counter is like, there's no elevator shaft. I'm like, come on.
Really? She actually said that. Okay.
She said that. I don't think they wanted me walking around with with like a bunch of gear, like ghost hunting in the middle of the place.
Right.
But that's not what we want to be known for.
Maybe. I don't know. But so the reason I brought that up, the stories, are you at liberty to discuss any of the stories from there?
Sure. I think so. I mean, especially anything that's published in the local newspaper it's public. It's not like someone has a copyright on a story that, although maybe we should copyright it. I don't know. Because we've shared a little bit. So a little brief history of the town of Eureka Springs.
Yes.
There was nobody living here. Like Gaskin's Cabin, which is like, if you like prime rib, and they don't pay me to say this, but they're 3 miles out of town. And that was the nearest house to our town. And within 2 years, we went from 0 to 20,000 people. And basically there were some healing springs that natives were aware of, prehistoric, I guess, is how you would say it, and of course, mostly Osage in the area. And around 1825, the Osage got a reservation up near Independence, Kansas, and so pretty much most of those. That tribe, those people moved up to the reservation. So there was really nobody here from 1825. Of course, the Trail of Tears was 1830, 1831. And so around 1850, a little town sprung up to the east of us, Berryville, and a physician moved to town, and he started hearing these stories of the ancient healing springs. And he discovered them. It took him a few years of stumbling around, and he found where the main spring was, and he started bottling the water and called it Dr. Jackson's Magic Eye Water, and sold it all, side hustle for him for many years. And
seems to be the thing in Eureka.
Right. Word released where the springs were, and people started coming in here. And we went from 0 to 20,000 people in 2 years, and we were the second largest city. And so we boomed, and everything was built. It was 20,000 sick people, many of them
Yeah.
terminally ill. And so the we have more than one spring. I think we have 63 springs that are named inside our city limits. And so if you had a business near one of the other springs, it behooved you to talk about the healing powers of your spring versus the other springs, right?
Right.
And so people that had different diseases or different conditions, and then some people who just wanted to cover all their bases, would
Yeah.
would take their walking sticks and their little tin cups, and they would go from spring to spring every day, and they would drink a little bit of water from the different springs. And so um, this reputation of the town sprung up. But you have a bunch of sick people, it's not like you can move miles, right? And
Yeah.
so
Right.
so all the lots are tiny. I mean, we have lots that are 20, 30 feet wide, and you walk downtown, it's like business to business, it's all crammed together. But you go in the residential areas, it's not much better. And it's because you had to get 20,000 people in a really
That's
tight
close.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so aesthetically, our town was really um, um, a very, and we're on mountainsides, and
Yeah.
I know we are in the Ozarks, but I mean, you go pretty much anywhere else, it's plains, and there's more than enough area to build a town and spread out,
Yeah.
right? Not
Oh
here.
yeah.
And then so it was all wood buildings. That shacks went up real fast, and then fires came through. There were three of them that burned them out, and then the big fire in 1888, like the next city council meeting was like any commercial zone property has to be out of brick or limestone. And so much of what is here now is the rebuilding in a solid, construction that won't
Yeah.
burn easy. We have five remaining hotels that are and of course the Crescent is the most famous and the largest. The Basin probably is number two,
Yeah.
but the New Orleans, the Palace, and the Grand Central. So those are the three uh, other ones that are downtown that are old and Victorian. And so the New Orleans built somewhere in the 1890s. I think
Hmm.
the date they have on their front door is actually wrong, because if you look at the Sanborn fire maps, you can Google those. It didn't exist in 1895. Maybe a typo from 1897. I know,
What?
here, that's what's so fun. And then when you have the newspaper morgues that have been burned in some of these major fires, you
Hmm.
lose a lot of
You
really
do.
official
Yeah.
context. But yes, the New Orleans. Well, first of all, when you have so many people that come here that are sick,
Right.
terminally ill, and yeah, there were some miraculous type healings, but a lot of people died. And
Hmm.
so the hotels and the boarding houses around town, they all saw death. And so you have people, um, now you might go, okay, it's not tragic, and a lot of your ghost stories tend to, if it's a crime of passion or if there's something extra tragic, there
Yeah.
tends to be something that holds the energy there, maybe longer than other places. But if you if you're sold a bill of goods to pack up and leave your family and your home and travel all the way out here, and it was a 40-hour stagecoach ride when you got off the boat in Ozark, Arkansas, down on the Arkansas River. If you're really sick,
Wow.
who knows how long it took you to get to the port? You get off the boat, then you got to take a stagecoach for 40 hours to get to town. For miraculous healing waters that it's argued that, maybe they were miraculous in healing at one time, but you get 20,000 people peeing and pooping all over the hillsides. Maybe the waters aren't quite so magical anymore, right? Like, what's that smell, right?
It magically turned yellow.
Yeah,
Guy in the hills is taking a leak.
Check out the healing power.
No, it's just urine in the spring water.
Right. Fine. It's fine.
But yeah, so maybe if you're sold a bill of goods and you come here in your last few months of suffering and you die, maybe it is a tragic death, right? So,
yeah, I mean,
might be.
Tragic is taking that 40-hour ride while you're sick and then just going there to die. Basically, that's pretty tragic to me.
It is.
And with the building of Eureka Springs, anybody that's walked there, if you notice the sidewalks, the buildings. A lot of limestone there. That stuff retains energy.
Limestone, yes.
Healing waters, limestone, and railroad. Hey, look at that.
There you go. Yeah, and you've got and there were all kinds of some of the old newspapers, some of the old advertising. It is kind of fascinating to read about the healers, really. I mean, there were doctors, and it was a very loose term back.
Yeah, charlatan, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. You graduated high school, you're a doctor, right? So I like to let people know it's almost like if you ever saw the TV show Little House on the Prairie, kind of the doctor where you go in and you here, deliver my baby and I'll trade you a chicken and
you need a donkey kicking.
Half of a hog, and
you got ghosts in your blood. Let's do some cocaine.
Let's get the bird to peck all the blood out of your
ear. Right, yeah. Let's do some bloodletting. Yeah.
Is there flannel in this?
So anyway, so the New Orleans was there not at the very beginning, but in the 1890s, before patent medicine came along, and where people really did still come for the magic, and then that was pre-Baker, and the Crescent was here, but Baker showed up at the Crescent in the 30s, so he was pushing his magic. But and then the most famous, in your little subtle reference there was a tragic elevator accident that happened in the New Orleans, and they have permanently entombed the elevator. We did a ghost hunt there, and we got receipts. We got to go into the elevator shaft.
Heck yeah.
On Halloween 6 years ago. So
I don't really know the story of the elevator. Was that like there was like work happening or something like that?
It was the top floor. It may have been the whole, but pretty much the sixth floor of the building. They were doing construction, and one of the workers there had to get some debris, wood, plaster, whatever, down to the dumpster out back on first floor, and they had a sign over the little button that you push to call the elevator on the top floor. It said out of order, and when people checked in, they told them the elevator works great first through fifth floors. It does not go to the sixth floor. If you have to go to the sixth floor, you need to get off on the fifth floor and walk up the last floor. And so everyone knew that. This was 1986. A guy by the name of Mark Relia, he was working on the top floor. He had commandeered an old laundry cart to put the debris in. He overloaded a little too much. His original plan was to work it manually down one flight of stairs and get on the elevator and take it safely the rest of the way down. He overloaded too much. He was alone. He thought, let's see if the elevator will come up. And he reached up under the out of order sign and mashed the little button, and up came the elevator to the top floor. And when the elevator arrived, it was one of those old time elevators with a telescoping gate on it, and exactly right. He opened it up. He pushes the laundry cart with the debris into the elevator. He reaches up. His plan was just to send it down one floor. He was going to run down the stairs, hop on the elevator on the 5th floor, and take it safely the rest of the way. He reaches up. He hits the 5th floor button, and then all of a sudden the elevator shaft drops in a free fall, and Mark's head was still inside the elevator when the guillotine dropped, and he was not decapitated, but his head was really squished.
Oh yeah.
The coroner said he died instantly, so there's a
That's
little
good.
solace that he didn't suffer in the tragedy. Nonetheless, his body is laid out there, mangled. All the blood in his body bleeds out.
The elevator shaft.
This down the elevator shaft.
13 ways to die. It's 1,000
Yeah.
ways to die. Whatever you want to call it.
Pools down at the bottom on the 1st floor, and so yeah, there's and I like to tell people, and that's part of our ghost stories, and the not just the stories, but our ghost tour, the whole. There's different superstitions, beliefs, and we're not here to like push anything on anyone, but factually people do believe different things, and so people come to our tours with all different mindsets, and even in a given family, someone might just love ghosts, the other ones are rolling their eyes, right? Well, we're required to educate and entertain everybody. We can't just say you have to believe in ghosts and you have to believe in this type of ghost and you have to believe in the limestone theory. It's like, I don't care if you believe in the limestone theory. We've got limestone, and there is a limestone theory. We're gonna, and when it comes to blood and the shedding of blood, that there's not a shortage of stories, whether it's a Civil War site, or where a murder happened and innocent blood was shed. You go all the way back to Genesis, right? The original Cain and Abel, right? God hearing Abel's blood crying out from the soil. Now does his blood really cry?
It's not like he's venom,
maybe physically, but in the spiritual realm, sure, right?
Yeah.
And whether you believe that or not, there's a lot of people who believe God heard the blood crying out,
right.
So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, so blood was shed. We did get to go into the catacombs several years back, and the ownership of the building changed, and we went to the new owners and we said, actually, we're doing research on the particular story I just gave you, and the building, and we noticed in the doors into the elevator shaft, they were padlocked shut, and asked the manager, do you guys have a key to the padlock? And they said, no, I don't think we've ever had, they may not have, they probably locked it up, the year after the accident. And anyway, so went to the new owner and said, hey, look, you've got these padlocks and you don't have keys, and that can be like a safety hazard. And we at Haunted Eureka Springs are more than happy to come in with some bolt cutters, and we will remove those locks. We will replace the padlocks with no charge and give you the keys. and the new owner just kind of laughed and said, "You want to do a ghost hunt in the elevator shaft, don't you?" It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Duh.
okay, when do you want to do it? Halloween. And he kind of rolled his eyes and was like, okay. So we came in with our bolt cutters on Halloween, and the people who got to go on the last tour, Halloween night, I think we had 6 of them going that night. It's like, hey, you guys want to go on a ghost hunt? And they were jazzed. And so
I'm like,
Yes.
yeah,
absolutely.
Now I know where to
bonus.
be on Halloween. That's for sure.
No kidding, right?
Yeah.
So we went up there, and first thing we noticed when we cut the padlock off, we opened the door. The elevator was on the 5th floor, okay? And so they had built a permanent like floor into the elevator shaft at the bottom of the 5th floor. Now the accident happened one floor up on the 6th floor,
Right.
so it was sitting, and then it was sitting about 18 inches lower than the 5th floor. So it was like we opened it. First thing we noticed, there was this steel bar, 1-inch steel bar that went across the top of the elevator, and it had been bent up
Oh,
13 inches.
Wow.
The corners of the elevator had been pulled in when it hit Mark's head.
wow.
A lot of the weight of the elevator. There was quite a bit of, not just gravity. I mean, it was pulling. Then we see the elevator sitting in there a little lower. It's a little bit of a leap of faith to step into the elevator, because it's like it's a big step.
Yeah, no, I would not.
and it's like we looked and we saw that there were boards underneath holding it. It's like, okay, this thing's been sitting there for 40 years or whatever. It hasn't fallen through the floor yet. So okay,
Right.
so we step in there, turn around, and we look up, and there is still blood on the walls from Mark up above in the elevator shaft going down, and then we see a trickle that went in through the door jamb and down the door and kept
I
going.
mean, if you believe in the whole blood theory and the blood's still there, just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So
Just a little part of
anyway,
him.
that's a bonus little story. We tend to throw that story in on October because it's a little darker. The 6 and 7, 8-year-olds don't always like that story.
Hey, kids want to see some blood.
This is not a family show. This is an adult show, so it's okay. I've warned people ahead of time. Do not let your kids watch the show, just in case.
Yeah. Now, another one of my favorites was about the bank robbery. That one I find particularly hilarious.
It is.
Even though some people died, it's still pretty funny.
And there's a little bit of other irony with the whole thing as we.
Oh yeah.
So
especially now since we just had the time change.
Right. Yes, exactly. That is
Exactly.
also the it's an interesting story because our town, and I know you have an audience that's global, right? Because it's the internet, but if anybody understands the politics, the demographics of America, Arkansas is it's in the South. It was in the Confederacy. It is in what politically would be considered a red conservative state. But our town is probably the most liberal town in all of the old Confederacy, as far as politics and lifestyle and that kind of thing. And yet we have this story of these bank robbers that came to town, and the Second Amendment was live and well back in 1922, and you could carry guns, and everyone just had guns, and they carried
That
them,
was
but
just a thing.
they had them,
Yeah, it
right.
was just life. Yeah.
And there was a bank robbery attempt, and our local citizens in the neighborhood um, shot the bank robbers down in the street.
Hey, yeah.
And so 3 of the 5 bank robbers were all 5 were shot, but 3 of the 5 died. And that is on our downtown route and one of our stories.
And see, that's what fascinated me was like I've been to the Basin Park so much, I didn't realize that the bank was like right there by like
That's where it was? Like, okay, when you're looking at the basin, where was it at? Like,
to the right.
to
uphill.
the right of the basin. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you go uphill.
Wow, that's nuts.
So
Okay.
go past the Basin Hotel and just up the steps a little bit, or up the incline, and So that's the dirty little secret when it comes to ghost tours. Ours as well as really anybody's. Worldwide, they're history tours, really.
Yeah.
And it's not all history, I mean, you have the ghost stories, and we try to mix the ghostology up there too for the context of everything, but it meshes together, and
100%.
yeah. So
now, and it does bring up the fact that it is a ghost tour.
Yes.
There are people that have experiences, and not just the guests. You've had a pretty interesting experience with your phone.
I have, and that was wow. I'm not sure how many years ago now, 6 or 7. So we do our tours year round.
Yeah.
362 days a year. We don't do Thanksgiving. We don't do Christmas Day. Although, if any, actually, we were booked for Christmas, and nobody. I mean, we had it up and nobody took it. One of our tour guides is not religious at all, and she said, if someone wants to do a ghost tour on, and you know what, the real truth is ghost stories are a Christmas tradition.
Yeah,
A Christmas Carol is a ghost story. That was when the ghost stories were. It wasn't Halloween. This was before Halloween took over, right? Was Christmas Eve. You would get and sometimes books and sometimes the local oral traditions. Anyway, but it just doesn't seem Christmas Day. People want to do something other than a ghost tour, but it's fun all around Christmas. But so we're not just an October ghost tour, right? And we're not just a weekend. We will do them 7 days a week if people buy tickets. In this particular night, there were just 2 people bought tickets. So guess what? You got a private tour, and I was the tour guide that night. And we come in, and at the end of our tour, we do a pendulum experiment. Pendulums are the old Victorian ghost hunting tools, and being a Victorian town, hey, let's do it. And a lot of people have not had a chance to experiment with pendulums, so we came in, and we come in, and I'm hearing this beeping noise, like it sounded like a phone being dialed. And I look to see if I'm butt dialing my phone, right? And I pull my phone out, and it's just the screensaver. And I hear it again, and we have a phone that has a FLIR camera built into it. It's a Caterpillar phone. I don't know if they even make them anymore. Now they have the little dongles that will go on phones now, but this had the FLIR camera, and for construction purposes, those are apparently a good thing, and
Yeah.
the caterpillar. And so we would use that for ghost hunts, and we just perpetually kept it plugged in because the batteries would always the FLIR camera drained the batteries.
Big time.
And and so it's sitting over there just plugged in, not that far from the pendulums, and it's and I look over, and the screen is on. Normally it's black, is screensaver black, and it's like
That's interesting. That was interesting.
it's
Did your phone just do that?
Did
or
your phone
you-
just do something?
The beep we're hearing are an invisible finger, I guess.
Hold on, real
An
quick.
invisible something
hang on,
pushing
Steve.
the buttons
Hang on,
on
Steve.
the
Hear us?
phone, dialing the phone.
Hold
I
on.
don't know.
And,
I don't know if you can hear us.
It
I don't know either.
was weird, and so like instantly I go, oh my god, okay, I need to record this. Should I go Facebook Live and go live, or should I record it? It's like, and this is all happening like in milliseconds in my head, because it's like, okay, if I record this and then present it somewhere or whatever, I mean, it's happening before my eyes, right? People are going to call bullshit on me because I'm like, I edited the tape. At Facebook Live, you don't even have the chance to edit, right? You're on now. You can delete it, but so it's like, okay, I'm going Facebook Live, and I went Facebook Live on my personal account, and then ended up later sharing it to the business account. And it's only a 6 minute, 5-6 minute video, but as we're going, it is dialing itself, and weird. It really was. And
Steve,
then
are you on your phone right now?
Stopped.
Are you
And
on your phone
someone,
right now?
I wasn't even paying attention to the live, my friends that had jumped online, right? And someone was going, press 1 means yes, tell the ghost 1 means yes, and 2 means no. And I was like, oh, afterwards I read, I was like, that would have been, I should have like,
Oh, that would have been cool.
But so it was pushing numbers, it was deleting numbers, and then all of a sudden it hit the dial button, and it was an AT&T phone. We did not have it hooked up to the monthly phone package, but it had the emergency override. It tried to push a 911 call, and it said this is not. It was like a 20 digit number. This is not an emergency number. Try again, and so basically the only thing you could push is okay, and it would go back, and it was like nothing happened. It's like push okay, and then nothing or nobody did, and so I reached over and hit the okay, and it went back to the normal screen, and it just sat there and killed the live feed a minute later, and an hour later it was still just sitting there. So whatever had happened came and went in that, well, at least that 6 minutes that I got on tape. So
Yeah,
that was kind of fun.
Steve, you can hear us, right?
Nope.
Can you hear us?
That's it. So someone did chime in later after
I don't
the
think he
live,
can hear us.
and they said,
I don't think he can hear us.
The number that was left on the screen, it's the GPS coordinates in Oman. And then the reverse, the negatives, I think, is in the ocean, some Pacific Ocean somewhere. But the positive version was in Oman, and like 11 years earlier, I was in Oman on a meteorite hunt of all things. And I swear, I might be able to find my old GPS, but I know I was maybe a mile or two. I was in the neighborhood of those coordinates, and
Time out.
which is creepy. It's really creepy.
Time out. Time out.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Can you hear us?
You can't hear me?
No.
Oh, we can hear you.
Oh
But no.
Steve, come
Steve,
back.
no! I'm muted.
No.
you. We hear you.
Can you still hear me?
You hear us. No.
Hit what?
We hear you. Yes. You can't hear us.
He just muted himself. There he goes.
Steve.
Unmuted.
I'm on
Maybe he
mute
needs-
now.
I'm gonna
Can you
Leave
hear
and
me?
come back.
message him.
Leave and come back.
I'm not on mute.
No.
I don't. Hold on.
We
I'm gonna
hear
message
you.
I'll hang up and come back.
How wild is that?
Anybody know sign language? The while he's telling his phone story, his phone
About it going
messes
black.
up. Right.
Boom,
Boom.
It goes black. And then it messes up like he can't hear us.
Wow, that's amazing, dude. What if that's the ghost? What if it's with him right now? Holy cow.
What eats a special prize with this guy? He doesn't. He has no idea what just happened.
I have no idea. I can't wait to
No
tell him when
idea.
he comes in. If he can hear us.
This is like the second time we've ever done a show where like some paranormal type activity happens.
Yeah.
With
we can't
Aaron
explain what
Thompson,
just
we
happened.
had an EVP come through over
Yes.
him talking from a haunted location.
All right, let's add him to the. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes. All right. You want to tell him, Charles,
Go
what
ahead,
just
Dave.
happened?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
How much did you miss?
No, we got
heard
it all.
Everything.
But here's what's fascinating. As you're telling the story about the phone going black,
like literally as
your
you said,
phone
went black.
your phone went black screen. And then like a few seconds later, you came back,
You can't. Yeah.
but you couldn't hear us.
Yeah.
I can
We can hear you.
Yeah.
we can hear
we
you.
We
You
were
couldn't hear
talking,
us.
Trying to get your attention and
Okay.
nothing.
So
It was we got the story.
Yeah, we got the
But
story.
you're-
We heard the story. But your phone went black on our screen.
Like as you said, your
As you were
phone went
talking
black
about
in the
it.
story.
I swear I didn't hit anything.
No, we believe
There's
you
no
100%.
There's no button here to say go black, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
We can still hear
and
you.
I could not hear you. Okay.
John's behind you, Dave.
I know, I see him.
Okay. Still, that was fantastic. That was awesome.
That
Wow.
was
timing.
That's the second time we've actually once before we had like some weird activity kind of happen on the show with another guest where like he was live from a haunted location and an EVP came through during the show. We didn't catch it at the time, but on playback we caught it. But this was just pretty freaking amazing.
That was great timing.
That just added fire to this.
Yep.
So
There's something
ghosts.
going on.
How
I'm
do you like
guessing
being in Steve's apartment?
is this a different phone now, right? So it's not the same phone.
No,
Like-
no, wait, no,
From the
yeah,
story?
yeah, no, it's not the phone that the accident happened, or the accident, the original
That's
phenomenon
wild,
happened.
dude. That is wild. Wow.
Yeah, that was fun. See, guys, this is why you got to go to Eureka Springs. You got to take the tour.
Yeah, you've got
experience what this guy's got to bring. Cassie said she wants to. What did she say?
She said she wants to eat special brownies with this guy. So fun.
Eureka Springs, where it's at.
Best
Eureka.
52 minutes of my life. She also said. This is great.
That was amazing.
Well, and yes, so the town has stories, and it's you were talking about last week talking about the Crescent, and it's not that the Crescent doesn't have enough of its own, and it is also limestone, but it's in the middle of our town, right?
Yeah.
And it's also up on the hilltop at the highest point in town where, some legends say that Native Americans' burial grounds were at the highest point of areas too, but
And sacrificial places.
yeah, a lot they don't always want to talk about some things.
No.
but,
Anyway.
Yeah, William. If you guys refresh the page in the description, there's a link for the Facebook page where you can book tours. We'll get into the contact info at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Make sure,
we're easy
Steve.
to find. We're easy to find. Just come to town.
William's like, make sure, Steve. Make sure. We're just saying. We got you. We got you.
Definitely. But okay, so I was alluding to earlier before the show, we were talking about the Grand Central Hotel. I know
Right.
nothing about this place. What can you tell me a little bit about the history of the place, if you know a little bit?
It's down on Main Street. It's one of the 5 old hotels. Interestingly, so we have these underground tunnels in town, and they have the privilege of like the double tunnel thing. That
like the original road, right? Like there's something like that.
Well, so there's like 3 tunnel phenomena. One tunnel is outside of town, a few miles, that goes through a mountain, and it's a train tunnel. But the train doesn't go through it anymore. They stopped in 1961, I think. And it's a pretty long tunnel through this mountain. It's kind of fun. The second one is our sewer system. From the not flushing toilet, not New York sewer, but like the
it's a pink sludge.
It's the
I'm kidding.
Right. Just from the rain runoff from the streets, and that ends up working its way, and it turns into Leatherwood Creek, and those tunnels go all between Main Street and First Street down at the lowest part. So under the bank, under the courthouse, under our auditorium, under a bunch of commercial buildings, including the Grand Central, they have that. So it's a limestone tunnel that's been built really deep over Leatherwood Creek, which was filled up and covered up about 25 feet down. In the center of town. So water always running through a limestone tunneled cavern under the hotel. Then you have the tunnels that are the phenomenon from just being on a mountainside and having to stair step the streets. So they're not like tilted. They had to build retaining walls, backfill them, and then between the retaining walls and the commercial buildings, also usually built out of limestone, you would have a gap in between. And so down on Main Street, they also have that gap and that tunnel that would go all the way up to the courthouse and beyond. Well, maybe not quite to the court. Anyway, it's and some of it's caved in and whatever since then. But so I do know at the Grand Central they do have like a window in the basement that is a door, and you open it up and it's into a tunnel, much like the access we have up on Spring Street. So we're a couple levels up, but these tunnels kind of crisscross, but they kind of merge at different places in town, going through town. Right. So I do know they have that. I do know they were here from 1880, maybe even 1879. They are a brick building now. They did burn in 83 or 88 when they were originally wood, but it is still Victorian and old, right. and every it really is. It's not like anybody has a corner in our town on ghosts, because you just have thousands of people who died here and whatnot. So
I met a couple at the con that they stayed in there, and they were telling some weird things happened in their room, and so I didn't know if because like I said, I'd never heard of it before. When you go to Eureka Springs, it's mostly just the big two are obviously the Crescent and the Basin are usually the two that get the most popularity, the most attraction, I should say. But yeah, it kind of stuck out, and I was like, well, maybe I'll have to go check it out, because I didn't even know about the Palace either.
The Palace bathhouse. Oh my god!
Yeah, I know.
Rosemary's over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Who is Rosemary? What is that?
She was a lady of the night. It was the palace was a brothel.
Oh, okay.
If anyone wants to Google the palace and look under images, they have this really large, like 20-foot neon sign out front that's
Looks like a phallus.
very it's very the phallus
I'm looking it up
palace
right
is
now.
the nickname.
The phallus
right,
palace.
right.
That's fantastic.
and
Oh my
it,
gosh.
and,
Wow.
and historically it was the first neon sign erected west of the Mississippi.
Sorry.
And
Now-
Hey,
it-
Jerry.
And it was not a coincidence. They were very blatantly. And Rosemary was one of the entertainers, I think is what we're supposed to call them, the
Yeah.
politically correct term. That she
can't call
worked
them
there
girls.
and-
You can't call them girls, apparently.
No.
Anyways,
And anyway, she met an untimely death with a jealous customer.
okay.
And and she's there to this day. So
That's sad. So what
Now-
is? Go ahead. Dave.
I was gonna say I actually got the chance to investigate there a long time ago, and of course we didn't catch anything. But like when rolling up on that place, that was the first thing I noticed was that sign, and I was like, that thing looks like a big cock and
Thing.
balls.
Big thing.
yeah.
And we had a good chuckle about it, but now we like know why it
That
was
was on
way.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Suggestive.
It was a big middle finger flip off to the city hall when it went up.
That's why it's further up the road.
Yeah.
Make
And
sure they
it
can
was
see it.
real. And this is a side, nothing really crude about it, but the
Yeah.
artist that manufactured the sign, the tin sign that the neon comes out of, painted a lot of signs around town, and he's very famous. His name was Golly, Golly, and his little naming little moniker was By Golly. So
Nice.
that was By Golly.
Hey, at least he can be original with his name, so that's good.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
more
the
you
hour,
know.
hour went by really fast.
It did go by really fast.
I wanted to kind of get into like the catacombs as well. I thought they were kind of interesting, and filming down there, there's that one section that does feel uncomfortable, especially with the lights out because you're in the catacombs. But if you would kind of explain why the catacombs are there, I don't think a lot of people really even know that they exist. Or that they
Yeah,
existed for-
I knew there was an underground, but like before I met you, Dave, I had no idea that there was a whole catacomb thing down there. No idea.
The urban legend in town was that there were these mudslides, and there were, but that the town was built lower, and then the mudslides came in, and then they just had to build, so like the second floor was now street level, and that's not really. There's one section of town where that is true. Right in front of the park, right in front of the Basin Park. They did have to lift that,
Right.
because they were bringing in trolleys in 1892, and the incline or decline was so steep that the trolleys would overtake the team of horses or mules pulling the trolleys. And so they had to level it off. And so they had to lift the road in front of the park to make the grade more shallow. And they extended it out. Everywhere else, the original buildings were all wood. And the fires that came in and cleared out downtown, they put in the new laws that everything had to be limestone or brick. And so the architects knew there was the first, or sometimes like in our particular building, the second floor was still going to be underground. And they built the buildings needed. And then, so like the third floor would be street level. And but because it was on a slant, on an incline, they had to shore up the street, and so they built these retaining walls, backfilled it, leveled off the roads, and then there was a gap between the curb of the street and the building, about 5 to 6 feet, usually about 6 feet wide, and that gap, you'd have this 8, 9, 10 foot trench between the front door and the street. And so they took limestone slabs, and they made sidewalks out of them for the people up above, and down below those sidewalks were a ceiling for now a limestone. So you have the limestone retaining wall, you have the limestone sidewalks, and you have the limestone foundation walls of the buildings. And and then underneath is the limestone as well, right? So you have these limestone tunnels that are on the downhill sides of most all of our streets around town, and especially where the commercial buildings, where they're all squished together. But even in the residential areas, that there'll be, sometimes they have these little bridges that go from the street to the porch, because there is, in certain parts of town, there's a little tunnel that goes under the houses. Anyway, where all the buildings are connected together, there's a continuous tunnel. And so they weren't built for nefarious reasons, but there's no real. If we were in Minnesota and you had 20 feet of snow, okay, that would have been great to travel, between buildings, but we don't get that kind of snow. And so it was just left for people that wanted to not be seen. And so you have up our street is the New Orleans, where we were talking about. They have tunnel access, and they had brothel-ish type things happening there. Also, during Prohibition, they had a speakeasy down on their second floor, which is now where they have like their kind of bar breakfast area. And they have a door that opens up into the tunnels. But people could sneak in so to sneak bootleg liquor in for people to come and go. If people didn't want to be seen who they're going into the hotel with, up on the sidewalk.
I'll throw in there, there was mob activity in Eureka Springs, so that kind of served a purpose for that too.
Sure. And so there's various reasons for people to traverse through there. And anyway, so that's part of the history, I guess, of the tunnels, and not built for nefarious purposes, but adopted for that. And you get stories about that on the tour. Definitely.
And I think the word catacombs just puts a stigma out there. Like, when you think of catacombs, first thing pops in my mind is like the Paris catacombs, where they use the bones in the walls.
Or Rome, right.
Edgar Allan Poe.
So like it's not like that, people. There's no skulls in the wall unless Steve wants to start putting them in there.
That we know of.
You could probably put one in there.
But now also a couple doors up from us was one of the old funeral homes, and that operated back in the Baker back in the day. And there's urban legend that there's tunnels going from the Crescent all the way down. Trust me, that does not. That's too many. That's like 80 feet of limestone. There's no tunnels.
Yeah.
But there was the entrance to our tunnel about 150 feet away. That went into a door that I physically have been in and out of. of that building, of the old Bloxham funeral home, where they were taking care of bodies back in the 30s when he was there. And so transporting the bodies from the Crescent down to that entrance and sneaking them in, not unplausible at all.
Yeah.
So not that they left the bodies there, but bodies, we're pretty sure bodies went through there. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So we got to bring this up
okay.
because I think it's fun for you. I think it's probably fun for you to share.
Right?
5 years ago, maybe more. Ghost Adventures was out at the Crescent Hotel, and you have a fun little ditty about that experience.
Yeah. So the Basin Hotel at the time had the Lucky 7 bar was up on the top floor, and they would have a poker game every Wednesday, and I was playing poker with this one Wednesday, and Lisa, the bartenders, all of a sudden just kind of blurted out. They just said over the walkie-talkies that no Crescent or Basin employees are allowed to go to the Crescent tonight. Why would any of us want to go up there? Kind of smart alecky, right?
Yeah.
But sincerely, and someone at the poker tables, there were 2 of them going on at the time, said, Ghost Adventures are up there doing a lock-in tonight. And I look across the poker table, and my buddy Katie, she was there local. She was playing poker, and I looked at Katie and I go, "Do you want to crash it?" And yeah. So we finished the poker game, and she lived like halfway between the Basin and the Crescent, and her dog needed to go relieve himself, as dogs have to a couple times a day. And so she goes, "Let's go by, and I'll get my dog, and then we'll go to the Crescent." It's like, okay. So we went up there, and then she got her dog, and we work our way to the Crescent, and it was dark. It was like black. And this is weird because the Crescent is open like 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it was really dark. And outside, a couple lights were on, but all the lights were out, and it just looked spooky. And we walked up, and we were walked up to the front door, and I grabbed the door, and it opens. And it was like, okay. And her dog took off and went in. He was a little smaller than a German Shepherd. I forget what type he was. But he kind of goes in, and she chases after him kind of over by the elevator. And we're in there like 5 or 10 seconds. And all of a sudden this guy comes running in down the hallway and goes, "You guys can't be in here." And we go, "We can't be in here." And he goes, "No, we're filming in here." And it's like, "Oh, okay." And so we left. And he goes, "There's a sign on the door." Well, there was like this typewritten sign on the door, right? And little typewritten in there. Yeah, and it's dark outside. You can't read. I noticed it walking out, and so we leave, and then I tell my friend, and it took like 2 or 3 months before the episode showed up on air, and I think I was doing the ghost tour that night and leading the tour, and so one of my friends was watching it, and I get this text message, "Steve, you're on the show." And it was like, after the tour, I called him and said, "What?" He goes, yeah, that you were on the, and he goes, "You're a disembodied spirit." And so it took him like 2 days later, it's online, and I go online and I look it up, and like at the 22-minute mark, there's this that they're recording up on the second floor in the stairwell, near where the elevator shaft was, where we were at. Picked up some voices, right? And normally on those shows, they de-scramble them, right? They take out all the interference, all this, and zero in that they probably did in post-production. And they probably heard, hey, you guys can't be in here. And they probably heard me say, what? We can't be in here? And they said, no, you can't be in here. We're filming. Anyway, so he knew, because I told him what had happened, a couple months before. So sure enough, disembodied voices, and they never cleared it up. So
Yeah,
anyway.
Of course
not.
Anyway.
So in case you guys want to hear Steve on Ghost Adventures, go look at that episode.
I should push for the IMDb credit, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Disembodied voice number
2, right? Anyway.
So I also wanted to ask you about something from Meteorite Men, because I've noticed something on there. It seemed like a lot of the episodes are in the south or southwest region of the country.
Right.
Is that like just a hot zone for meteor strikes, or I was just kind of curious, or is that just like accessible locations?
So we also did Iowa, and we did Wisconsin, and we did Canada twice, and we did some international. So no. Not hotbed, other than it had other things, coincidences, other than meteorites kind of land randomly, and now deserted areas are a little bit easier for them to be found, and so but
makes sense. Well, interesting.
So some loser wants to know how's it going, Steve?
Oh, hi, some loser. It's going good. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are enjoying this.
Oh, we definitely are.
Oh yeah,
I'm having a great time. It's great.
I was kind of curious, like, what's the biggest, and if you want to disclose it, most valuable meteorite you guys have found?
Pretty easy. It was in our pilot episode. And you can find that on YouTube, Meteorite Men pilot, or season 1, episode 1. 1,430 pound meteorite found 7 feet 4 inches under a wheat field in Kansas.
Under where? A wheat field in Kansas?
Yep.
Nice. Wow.
Now, is that still like a place you guys go back to check out?
No,
if there's any debris?
That's pretty hunted out.
Okay. Do you guys do that though? Like with certain places, do you just return
I
home
was
to see if
was in an undisclosed location last week hunting.
Area 51.
Nice.
Yeah. Other direction. But
The zone of silence, huh? Oh, other direction? Oh.
Yeah.
To the east and the west.
Awesome.
Nice.
Got the prize,
Good.
finally.
So do you have any do you have an interesting story? I guess you have an interesting story about the Crescent. You just told it. But have you experienced anything at the Crescent? At all?
I've not been up there a whole lot. No.
That's okay. I was just curious.
I hear stories. I see pictures all the time, but a lot of people who go on our tour will go on their. They have a tour also, and then they're also open for people to walk around. So, but yeah.
Also, I'm going to do a shameless plug. If you guys want to see the story that he was talking about with the phone, on Haunting History YouTube channel, go to Haunting History. I think it's season 1 or episode 1 of season 6. We did the underground, and some of the video from that incident is on the episode, and you can recount Steve's tale. And it's actually pretty wild to see it, like dialing buttons. And I think I was looking into the number 2, and I think it like came up with like an Alabama phone number or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was I think the area code was Alabama.
Still
and
weird.
Like I couldn't. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. But the fact that it, like what you were talking about, like coming up with the coordinates, and then you were in near those coordinates, that's pretty interesting, and just tells people how things work out in life sometimes like that.
I mean, literally, it's. Oh, God.
All right, Steve, we usually do our show for an hour. We've gone over a little bit, but
that's all right.
That's perfectly fine.
We
do
could
this
have
every time.
got 2 episodes out of this. I'm sorry.
Oh, we
No.
could have.
You're good. Oh, wow. You're good. We promise.
Guys, there's a load of information in Eureka Springs that
Yes.
it's amazing. If you're a history buff, you'll have a great time with it. If you're a haunting buff, you'll have a great time with it. Like, it's a great place to blend the two together, and you guys do it on the tour so well.
Thank you.
So we don't want to buy everything from you. Like, go take a tour for yourselves for sure.
Learn some of this in person. So where can they book tours at?
HauntedEurekaSprings.com.
There you go. I put a link for the Facebook page in the description.
That'll get you.
If you guys want to go through there too, you can get it there. Anytime during the year. So if you want to go on Christmas,
go say hi, for sure.
Yeah.
Erica said it was her birthday on Christmas is her birthday, so she don't mind taking a ghost tour on her birthday. So Erica, there's a chance.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Anything you want to plug or anything like that, Steve? No,
no.
He's like, nope. All right, guys. Also check out Meteorite Men if you haven't. It's kind of a fun show. Honestly, my favorite stuff from the show is when you guys are driving and you get stuck somewhere.
That happens a lot.
I know. It's hilarious. I'm like, why did somebody else drive? Like, get production to drive. But Steve, I appreciate you joining us on the show. It's been a blast, and we'll have to have you on again soon. We'll talk some more ghost tour
I'll
stuff.
have to find something else to talk about.
Oh yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty. But appreciate you having you on, and we'll see you soon. I'll be in Eureka Springs here sometime soon this year.
All right, look forward to it.
All right, bud. Thanks for joining us.
You bet.
Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. We really, really appreciate y'all being here and hopefully learning some great, fun facts and stories. Like, these were great stories. I didn't know what to expect. Like, I knew we were going to learn some great history about Eureka, but this was awesome. Anything that has to do with Eureka Springs, I love it.
That shit that happened with his phone
that was wild.
Dude. Yeah.
Absolutely wild.
I don't know. That's never happened before. That's never happened to me before.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it, honestly. The timing, the subject matter, like, it all just, that was great. That was good stuff.
It was too perfect to pass up. So we hope that y'all had a great time, and we hope that y'all join us all next week, same time, Monday, 8:00, and just have a great week. Thank y'all for being here.
Also, go follow us on TikTok.
Yes, definitely. Go follow us on TikTok. It's the same thing, Boogeyman Radio. If you're on TikTok, go there. We're a little bit more active each week now that I'm posting more videos, trying to get the following up. So, yeah, go hang out and
like and subscribe to this video too.
The more likes you put on the video, if you're watching on YouTube, like the video. It helps us out a lot. Same with Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook, make sure you like the video or other reactions. If you hated it, I don't care. Make sure you put the hated thing on there.
No, well, I mean, don't put thumbs down, but just like comment.
Not
that
thumbs
you hated
down. Yeah, exactly. Just say we hated this. Don't ever
just
listen
tell me.
again.
Just leave a comment. Don't thumbs down it.
Exactly. So
it's gonna hurt my feelings.
Whatever. I don't care. It's the internet. People just talk.
I don't care. It's whatever.
Whatever, man.
It's whatever. All right, guys. Have a good night.